नमस्कार, जय हिंद, जय भारत एंड वेलकम टू डेफ टॉक्स। दिस इज आदि अचिंत। तिलक साहब हमारे साथ हैं एंड व्हाट अ डे टू डू अ पॉडकास्ट विद तिलक सर, क्योंकि सबसे पहले तो प्रणाम, नमस्कार सर, वेलकम टू द शो।
इसका
पाकिस्तान इज ऑन द फ्रिट्स, मतलब क्या बोले पाकिस्तान के बारे में आज। एंड मैं सर से बात कर रहा था कि यार वी नीड टू टॉक अबाउट ये जो पूरा टोटल डील हो रहा है, क्या क्या कर रहे हैं, ओवरऑल जियो पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ पाकिस्तान। बट आई डिडंट रियली नो दैट वील हैव टू टॉक अबाउट स्पेसिफिक्स व्हिच हैव हैपेंड। 24 आवर्स चेंज अ लॉट। सर जी, पहले तो ये बताओ, आई मीन आसिम मुनीर हैज बीन जंपिंग अराउंड द प्लेस, मेकिंग डील्स, मेकिंग दिस एंड दैट, शोकेसिंग this thing, sending mitti to, I heard they sent a batch of mitti to America also. So what is
I'd love to hear what the Americans have to say about it. That it's hark, it's nonsense. I just want to see what feedback the Americans give about what we are saying. And Adi, frankly, that photograph of Munir showing the rocks to President Trump. When you go to an army mess, वो बेरा बेरा आता है ना, the waiter comes, सर जी क्या लोगे, मूंगफली है, चने हैं, क्या ड्रिंक लोगे. He's basically telling Trump, आपको क्या चाहिए, like a waiter. This is a chief of the army staff of the 8th largest army in the world.
field marshal?
Yeah, and he's hanging around showing stones. And this chap Amal Wali said the right thing. Yeah, what a joke. In the National Assembly, he said the right thing.
Mm.
So, I mean, it's really tragic that at a time when you're losing officers, you're losing a large number of men. Those two attacks for the TTP, one in Orakzai and the other in the Dera Ismail Khan. They lost Lieutenant Colonel between the battalion commander, two majors, 11 or 14 soldiers, if not more. And this man is trying to sell rocks. And then the statement, the quarterly statement which came out from the CRSS of the third quarter, they lost 900 people. 900 people, militants, civilians, army personnel. That's almost 300 casualties a month.
Mm.
For a country the size of Pakistan, 300 fatalities in a month. I mean, it's not even funny. It's really tragic that this is the kind of thing and this is what the leadership is doing. So I think Asim Munir was defeated in war, and now Asim Munir has been defeated in internal security. Yet he thinks he's fit enough to get a 3-year extension. Sorry, 5 years. He wants 5 years.
5 years, sir.
No.
Now, sir, let's take a background, sir. So what I feel happened is कहीं ना कहीं China probably told them, यार बेवकूफ, what the hell have you done? मैंने तुमको अच्छी इक्विपमेंट दी, सब कुछ दिया, you bloody, what did you do? So obviously इनको गाली पड़ी होगी वहां से. I think this is just a theory, huh? So I'd really request your opinion. I think post that they ran to America and they realized, bloody hell, China is not going to support us. अगर कुछ हो गया, ये भागे अमेरिका. सर जी क्या चाहिए? What do you want? A rare? Yes sir, we have. Yes sir, we have. Sir port ले लो. Sir pass नहीं. Sir this, sir that, sir. You know how Pakistanis are. They can really lay it on thick if they're trying to do this. And this is what I learned from my friends in the Middle East, that Pakistanis, oh man, they can lay on thick butter at someone. अच्छा ठीक है, Trump को they handled him, got whatever little bit weapons and all that stuff that they need. Some amount is coming in, some amount people are saying is coming in. So they got the Chhatro Chaya of Trump. Post that, Trump obviously will ask something from them. They got inside this Gaza nonsense. They gave this huge statement. Then they started backing off. What were they trying to do, sir? Do you think my theory of getting whacked by China and running towards America to save themselves, does that hold any water?
I think China has not fully whacked them yet. I think China is going to whack them even more. You see, because all this has happened, suddenly China realized, we have invested $24 billion, and they are going to show rare earths and critical minerals to the US. What about us? What the hell? We've been there on the ground, and you pick up these stones and tell the US, "Oh, bye, aap le lo." Then they're selling the children to Trump, that we've got huge oil reserves. Where are the reserves here? Even Pakis are asking, "Hey, हमारे पास तेल है?" And China is also asking, "Wait, where is your oil? And where are these critical minerals?" So I think the real fatigue is going to come from China a little later. But you are right. They've gone running to the US and said, see, because whatever the equipment that they've lost in Sindoor, F-16 especially, now that you are documented, I think they've lost about, what, 8 or 9 F-16s?
Yes, sir.
So for that they need the US, the repairs or the new ones or whatever. They need the US for that. And Trump is willing to play ball because of the cryptocurrency deal his son and other guy, what's his name? Witkoff's son have signed with Pakistan. So there is also a personal interest, and they have played on this ego. They're nominating him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Of course, the poor guy must be crestfallen today because the Peace Prize hasn't gone to him. It's gone to the Venezuelan opposition leader, I believe. I personally would have liked it if it had gone to the Baloch, Marang Baloch. But still, whatever, President Trump hasn't got it. So he must be very disappointed. So that one card that Pakistan played to win over Trump, that has gone waste. Let's see what happens for the other cards that they have played. You see, ultimately, they're going to be found out that how long can you keep selling something which is not there in the ground, which has not been discovered so far? Even then, what they are basically saying is that you have to invest, I don't know how many billions of dollars, to first of all see whether those rare earth elements or critical minerals are actually there. Then you'll have to invest a whole lot of other funds to be able to extract them, take them out either in raw form or to process them in Pakistan. It's a long, drawn out thing. But somehow or the other, they managed to convince the Americans. So Americans are also going to turn on them very soon. I won't be surprised if within 6 months to a year, they get found out by the US.
Sir, we've invested 7,300 crores. That's our PLI scheme. 7,300 crores is what the government is saying on rare earth and critical minerals. That's, I mean, I don't think Pakistan can write that in a sentence.
Yeah, and today the Afghan foreign minister says, please ask your mining companies to look for critical minerals in Afghanistan. And Afghanistan at one time, if you recall, there were estimates that there's about $3 to $4 trillion worth of rare earths.
Yeah.
And the Americans and Pakistanis would be shocked at this, that if Indian companies actually take up this offer and the Taliban are assuring security.
We'll come to Afghanistan, sir. My another thought process has been कि ये कुछ ना कुछ करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं where they are trying to get back at that 1990s tapi thing कि यार यहाँ पर तेल तूल ले आओ, हम we'll do whatever is required. Saudi had promised a refinery in Karachi. हम आपको तेल भी दे देंगे, हम आपको rare earth भी दे देंगे. And basically, they got the Americans to sanction Chabahar to basically block Taliban to get supplies from other places. मेरे हिसाब से this was a complete Pakistani plot, sir, because they went there and America sanctioned Chabahar after that mindlessly. Interestingly,
I also think that it was a pressure point for Bagram, that you squeeze the Taliban on Chabahar and tell them that, how about handing over Bagram to us? You see, I don't think President Trump realizes who or what the Afghans are.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's made a mistake. You can underestimate them by looking at them. Okay, who are these guys? They are from madrasas. They are not educated. They're not this. But the canniest guys, the most brightest fellows in terms of business sense are the Afghans. And President Trump doesn't realize that if he thinks he can push them and grab Bagram all over again by trying everything, including stopping their access route to the sea by choking Chabahar, it's not going to work. It just won't work. But in the process, Sorry, go ahead.
No, interestingly, today, Mr. Jaishankar actually mentioned that, we are sending another round of food today, and there are some 20 ambulances and stuff like that. So that's the question I asked. Okay, if we don't have a route to go in, how are these ambulances going inside and how's the food? So
Yeah,
there obviously will be found a way. And Bandar Abbas is there. So you can send it through there and go up. That's not a problem. It's the same thing. It's just 200 kilometers extra. That's it.
yeah.
But what do you think the Pakistanis are, like the Trump statement that Pakistan will be the center of oil? India will be buying oil from Pakistan. That put me into curiosity. This guy is talking about that same old 1990s nonsense. That's
Yeah.
where this Bagram and this thing makes sense. Okay, if you have a military base sort of a thing there, he can control the pipeline coming in through Afghanistan, and Pakistan becomes the outlet. Cryptocurrency, Trump makes money, and everything's fine.
Except
This
that there
whole
is no oil.
in Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, they want that 1.9 trillion dollars worth of gas and all that nonsense.
Yeah. But see, that is located in Central Asia.
Yes, sir.
What Trump is talking about is oil finds within Pakistan. This is what Pakistan has sold to him. If you remember, Imran Khan said the same thing,
Yeah.
that oil as much as Kuwait. And the next day, Exxon Mobil and all just quit and said there is no oil over here.
So
You
everybody's
know,
leaving Pakistan.
yeah. So many
Gillette.
companies of late. Gillette is the last of them to leave.
Yeah. I was
And yet,
joking. The Pakistani men
the
are not going to get the best. Sir.
so I think this oil is a total thing. I think critical minerals are also going to be a hoax. And whatever little is there, as I told you in the last program, Recordec has been around since 1993, and we are in 2025. 32 years में आप कुछ नहीं निकाल सके. Now they're running around getting funding from different agencies, raising loans to prospect whether something is there or not. But in the meantime, they've already marketed it by saying there is $6 trillion worth of strategic minerals in Pakistan. I mean, how we are? Where? Has anybody even done any kind of survey? So, I think they're going to get found out very soon.
So now this Afghanistan thing, you also agree that this was a pressure tactic to get Bagram back. Pakistani suddenly kind of becoming more aggressive towards Afghanistan. Does it seem like they're in the game to put more pressure on the Taliban via? I mean, the Americans are using Pakistan to do that. Airstrike karo bhai, ye karo, wo karo, to put some
This I
pressure.
think was a knee-jerk reaction of
Mhm.
the heavy casualties they've taken in the last week.
So,
Losing a lieutenant colonel and a major and another major. I think this was in reaction to that.
mhm.
They had to show the public that they are doing something. So you let fly, send your drones, send your aircraft, because they know perfectly well that Afghanistan is not in a position to intercept. So you do that. And that in the process will take out the TTP head. Now they mentioned three names. Apart from Noor Wali Masood, the two other people they mentioned were actually already dead since 2018 and 19.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, thodi imagination, yeah, a little bit of intelligence. To at least the names that you say are people who are still alive, that it can be plausible.
Mhm.
And then Noor Wali Masood came out with his proof of life audio, that he's very much alive. So I think this is a Pakistani desperation to show their people that they are doing something, telling the Americans we are doing something, we are putting pressure on the Taliban. A chain starts from there. But the fact of the matter is that this is a serious escalation and a serious deterioration in Pak-Afghan relations. I don't think so. The Afghans are going to keep quiet about it for very long. There have been airstrikes in the past where the Afghans have not reacted. In 2022, there was one, I think, in
Yeah.
Post and Nangarhar. There was another one in 2024. I think 47 civilians were killed. Again, apart from protests, the Taliban did not do anything. But this time, since they've struck in the heart of Kabul, and we don't know the, uh, you know, the extent of civilian casualties. Even the Taliban have kept quiet about it. So I think Taliban are not going to let this go very easily. And the fact that if Pakistan is not able to handle the TTP in their domain, can you imagine if the Taliban were also to jump into the fray? With their thousands of suicide bombers that they have, and the suicide bombers in the urban setting in Pakistan, what is the kind of damage they could inflict? So I think Pakistan has really chewed off a lot more. And then you have a guy like Defense Minister, Khwaja Hafiz, so-called Defense Minister. He says enough is enough. Arebe, enough of enough has been there for the last 3 years. What have you done? You can't deal with the TTP. You can't deal with the BLA. So, you are think that by using air power, which the Taliban don't have air force or don't have much of an air force anyway, then you think you can get away with it. But Taliban will hit back at you through other manner, through other means. And that is the thing that Pakistan will have to watch out for. I think this has been a terrible mistake on the part of Pakistan.
They've already hit today Tira Valley. There's been a strike by the TTP, 11 soldiers there. And there's been another strike, I forget the area, another 10, 11 chaps have died there itself. So almost 20 people have gone. And in the past 3 days, they've lost more than 50, 60 chaps.
Yeah.
So this is happening. But sir, Nurwali Masood put out this audio statement and he clearly said, I'm in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
And he gave the date also.
He gave the date and he said, I am in Pakistan, inside KP area. मैं वहां पर हूँ, मैं सही सलामत हूँ, कुछ नहीं है. तो इन्होंने तो काबुल में मारा है, ये यहाँ बैठा है.
They're all living in a dream world, just trying to put out any story. And then look at the DG ISPR. He had his press conference at 2:30. Everyone thought he will talk about the airstrikes. But when they realized that the airstrikes have been duds, hit nothing, the whole press conference was turned around and he started talking about Imran Khan. Why do you need a DG ISPR to talk about Imran Khan? It is not a military matter, at least ostensibly. But then they realized that, after making such a hoo-ha about the airstrikes, that Pakistan has hit Kabul and taken out Nurwali Masood and 2 other people who were already dead. Suddenly they realized, yaar, ye to bahut galat ho gaya. So then at the last minute, the press conference theme was changed to Imran Khan.
Now, here Imran Khan is also very interesting. He changes his, his chief minister in KP from Gandapur to that Sohail Ahmed chap. That chap is pretty close to Bushra Bibi. We know that. Everybody knows that. He's very close to her. Plus, sir, to my mind, Imran Khan basically showed a lot of courage saying ki, boss, even in jail, I can handle my people. How do you see, and I believe, Moin Pizada and all these chaps are reporting on this, that I believe Asim Munir said, oh, this can't happen. It's already happened.
Except I think the person who is nominated, this Sohail,
yes, sir.
I don't know whether he's taken over. I think there was some opposition by the army. So
he's already resigned, that chap. So,
sorry?
This guy Gandapur is already resigned.
No, Gandapur is resigned. I'm talking about the successor.
Yeah.
Whether the successor is taken over.
Sir. It's not confirmed.
Yes, there is no doubt. You see, the fact of the matter is that Imran Khan continues to be the most popular politician in Pakistan. And this is something that Asim Munir cannot tolerate. That despite everything that they have done against Imran Khan, he continues to be the single most popular politician in Pakistan. And the other thing, this Commonwealth report that came out in elections, it hasn't got too much of traction in India, unfortunately. But that documents how the February 2024 election was totally rigged. And rigged to get Imran Khan out of power and to get the PMLN back. And the Commonwealth Observers Group sat on this report for a year and a half. Elections took place in February 24. They've released it in September 25. And that also, when that report was leaked on this drop site website, then they were forced to release it. Now, that is something which is slowly going to get traction. And Imran Khan knows that is his trump card. That now he has documented proof of a Western Gora organization to prove that the elections were rigged. And they also mentioned this form 44, 40, 45, 47 of how the results of a polling station, when they were consolidated at the constituency level, there was no correlation between the two. So this is going to give him greater traction, greater popularity. And this is Asim Munir's worst nightmare. That एक तो आपने election rig की, not even rigged in a manner that would have given the PMLN a majority. Then he could have been sure that there can be no problem. Now he has to keep one eye on the parliament. In case people cross over or something and the government falls, then he's in trouble. And the popularity of Imran Khan. So there's more trouble brewing for Asim Munir in this regard. That's why Imran Khan has gathered strength to get rid of Gandapur. You know, NWFP is his only government. If Gandapur had walked away, the 15 or 20 of the PTI legislators, the government would fall. And the next government, they will certainly not come back into power. But Imran Khan was willing to take that risk because A, he knows he's popular, B, he's been bolstered, and people are willing to do what he wants. Therefore, Gandapur also just blindly resigned. He didn't resist because they can all see the writing on the wall.
So Asim Munir, from being, I mean, it doesn't pain me to say these words that I'm going to say, but it makes me laugh. The victor over India, yeah, right, shooting down 6, 8, 10 Rafales. By the way, it went from 5 to 7. Why? Because Trump mentioned 7, so they had to kind of. This is the official narrative of Pakistan. Oh, यार वो Trump ने 7 बोल दिया था, तो आप उसको थोड़ी contradict कर सकते हैं. Huh? Okay, fantastic. So Asim Munir went from shooting down 7 Rafales, 3, 4 Sukhois, 5, 6 this thing. Modi Saab was hiding all that to a point today where he is being questioned in his parliament that what the hell are you doing? Sir, field marshal rank, सब कुछ ये वो चकाचक. To a point, they were gurus, political gurus, geopolitical gurus, who I used to fight with online, by the way, who would tell us, look at Pakistan diplomacy. This is called riding the tiger and this and that. Okay, fine. You guys are super analysts, but you guys don't know Pakistan. Anyways, all that nonsense to a point today on the ground, TLP is protesting against the army. Now, help me understand. The army used the TLP to get Imran Khan into power, right? Now, there's the same TLP protesting against the same army.
So, you know, this is what happens. You create a monster and then you think the monster won't turn around and eat you up. You see, where the TLP is strong, that it has support from all the Barelvi shrines. And in Pakistan, 60-65% of the population is Barelvi. And they have a lot of faith in the Barelvi shrines. You know, Data Darbar, for example, in Lahore.
Yeah.
And there's so many other shrines. So TLP is support bases these shrines. This used to be also the Nawaz, PMLN Nawaz political support, you know, the Sufi shrines. And Nawaz Sharif's father made sure he kept in good touch with all these leaders of the various shrines. The army broke that support base by setting up the TLP. And the TLP became, they made them into anti-Nawaz and to support Imran Khan. Till that time, the TLP was supporting the army. Now, Israel and Palestine is an extremely emotive issue. And if you start saying that The next step after this deal is going to be recognition of Israel, and we will have diplomatic relations with Israel. Now, that is a huge challenge and an affront to the TLP. And this is precisely what has happened. You see, the fact of the matter is, at one level, the TLP is protesting against this deal कि अमेरिका ने करवाई है. अरे भाई जब वो राजी, तो why are you protesting? If Hamas and Israel have come to that agreement, why are you protesting? But they are also protesting about the danger of Pakistan supporting or recognizing Israel, which is the next step. People are already talking about it, of supporting Israel. So that's how the TLP has come out of the control of the army. And that's why Asim Munir finds himself today on the back foot as far as the TLP is concerned. And these TLP guys are very, very fanatical. And even though they're Barelvis, extremely fanatical on this one issue. And then he's going against the grain of 70 years of Pak history. When Jinnah himself had said that you have, unless and until the Palestinians get justice and a two-state solution or whatever, you can't recognize Israel. Either you prove Jinnah was wrong, that he never said this. I won't put it past the army to now come up with a narrative that Jinnah ne to kaha hi nahi. Kahan kaha hai? Dikhao mujhe. That kind of a thing. But coming back to the TLP is going to zero in on this. And if their people have been killed, I think yesterday 2 people were killed. I don't know what has happened today. So this could drag on. And Punjab is one place where the Pakistan Punjabi army would find it difficult to control the situation. That's why they use Rangers. The Rangers of the FC. Now that has become also, the FC has also become a central force. They can use it. But for the Punjabi army, they'll find it difficult to control the TLP.
So what's the way out of this for him?
They'll have to buy them off. Like they did last time in that Faizabad Chowk, you found a 2-star going around dishing out 1,000 rupee notes to them and say कि हम भी तो तुम्हारे साथ ही हैं. They will have to find some ways to browbeat Saad Rizvi, give him loads of money and give him some other facilities or whoever his people are in jail. You see what happens in this kind of a thing? The police, let's say, picks up 50 people. Then release of those 50 people becomes a bargaining lever. And they come to a settlement या तो ठीक उनको छोड़ देंगे, उन पे केस नहीं लगाएंगे या केस लगाएंगे, but we will not pursue that case. So the case hangs on them like a Damocles sword for future bargaining or to ensuring their good behavior. So things like this, they will gradually temper it down. So नहीं हम नहीं करने वाले Israel को. We are doing it for the sake of the people. We're doing it for the sake of the Palestinians. कि उनके वहाँ peace हो, उनके बच्चे भूखे ना मरें. That kind of an emotional lob they will play. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
There are two things which get Pakistani, especially this jihadi Pakistani riled up. One is India and Israel. They're just two things.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Israel is more because it's also, a religious issue plus Jinnah. In the case of India, it is the hatred for the Hindu. So that also gets, mixed up in this. So you can take your pick whether India is the enemy number one or Israel is enemy number one.
I mean, we have people like, I mentioned him before, Mohit Pirzada, putting out a video today saying ki, wherever Gandhi is there, he will be laughing, he'll be crying today because India's Prime Minister is calling Netanyahu my close friend. I was like, whoa, wait. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Who was Shama Junejo who accompanied the defense minister into the UN?
Yeah.
Weren't there Israeli, spies or whoever, Mossad agents or whatever, when Asim Munir was talking in Tampa, Florida? So what are they talking about? What are these guys? I mean, what even these so-called who we claim to be that thoda dimag Pakistanis, जहाँ वो हिंदू की बात आती है तो they come back to that same, their core value remains the same, huh?
Yeah, yeah. The indoctrination has been so much anti-Hindu that you know,
It's
at least
amazing.
at some level you feel sorry for them.
Now let's look at Pakistan overall, sir. You've had a protest in POJK, which was violent. They picked up these bloody police chaps. Police chap pretty much surrendered there. They had to send in the Rangers and FC and all that and get that thing calmed down. And they bent the knee in front of those chaps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They admitted to all the demands. They've set up a committee for the critical one of refugee constituencies. The 25 or the 38 demands they've had to meet. Similarly,
So
in Gilgit Baltistan also there was this about trade and taxes. They had to bend backwards and accept that.
yeah, that was a long protest. 127 days it lasted in that
Yeah,
Sost area in the north.
yeah,
So they had these two issues in the north. They've got Sindh farmers right now protesting because they've not been able to hold up water and stuff like that, and they are worried what's going to happen. And that canal diversion, by the way, they've
yeah.
refused it, but I believe the work is still happening. So water is going to go from Sindh. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
and Mariam Nawaz has come down very strongly in favor of the canal. She had a scrap with Bilawal Bhutto.
Yeah,
And then Zardari had to intervene to sort of patch up the coalition.
yeah. So you've got that. You've got Balochistan, which is Jafar Express. I think Baloch love the Jafar Express so much. इसको यहीं रहने दो यार, जाने मत दो उसको. जहाँ आती है उसको फोड़ देते हैं.
Target practice है ये तो.
Sir, by this way, Pakistan will not have trains left. ये सारे ट्रेन ही तोड़ देंगे सारी इनकी. And then you've got KP, which is fiery hot right now. At least
Yeah.
Balochistan, the Baloch are not attacking. It's too hot in that region to do stuff. I know that. It goes up to 50, 55 degrees. Bloody hell. It's too hot to operate in that area. They wait for the rains to come in, and then the rains and winters is the time when they kind of operate in that place. So
You
by
know,
that
there's a
time,
very famous, just as a diversion, very
sir,
famous Baloch saying. They said, "Oh Allah, when you had created Dadar, what was the need for creating Doza? That means, why did you have to create hell when you had created such a hot place like Dadar, where the temperature goes up to what you're saying, 55 degrees?"
yeah, it's crazy. So I was talking to my Baloch contact. They say, "Sir, इतना गर्मी है अभी तो बाहर हम निकलेंगे साला we'll melt. Forget those guys." वो अभी नहीं कोई लड़ता. इस टाइम पे नहीं लड़ेगा. कहता है जुलाई के बाद सॉरी ये अभी मानसून शुरू हो गया है. अभी हम लड़ना शुरू करेंगे. इट विंटर्स में होता है हमारा काम. मैं ठीक है, ओके. KP is on fire right now. I mean, literally on fire. There's hell to pay. And now comes Punjab. In your reading of Pakistan, sir, has Pakistan faced protests in every province before?
You know, not unitedly, not at the same time, not in time and space at the same time. And some of these, you see, like even in POK, while there is temporary peace on the surface, when government will not be able to implement these demands, the people are going to be back on the streets. It is not
Hmm.
as if that agitation has been nipped in the bud and people have been satisfied. No, they're not. They're waiting to see does the government fulfill their promises or not, especially on refugee seats. You see, what are the refugee seats? And why are people upset about them? Because 6 persons from Jammu and 6 from Srinagar, the seats, now those, their grandfathers must have come as refugees in 1947. Today, the people contesting those seats have got no connection with Kashmir, but they are manipulated by the agencies to break or make governments in POK. So people said enough of that. Let's see how they get out of this. So what I'm saying is that POK, it is not settled. Punjab is hot. It's live. Sindh is live because for farmers it's a question of life and death. And
Yes, sir.
Balochistan and KPK, it's always hot at the moment. So if you take all this together, I think it's a very serious situation that Pakistan is in. Because these kind of protests coming all together, how do you tackle all of them at the same time? And I don't think so Asim Munir or Shehbaz Sharif, for that matter, have the bandwidth or the intelligence or the intellect to be able to deal with these kind of challenges all coming at the same time. Army का तो एक ही है. You know, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. कि ठोको. But now the thing is that other people can tofu you bad as bad. They can hit you back. It's not that they are simply nails. The nail can strike you back, and that's exactly what is happening. So I think
Sir,
you're right.
TTP is
It's a
putting up
combination.
posters in Islamabad, sir.
TTV is putting up.
Posters in Islamabad. They put flyers,
Wow.
posters, and banners in Islamabad.
Wow.
I know they've been on top of. They are on top of that hill in the jungles in the Margala hill area. They're there. I know where all these bloody snooty Pakistanis go for their holidays and this and that. I know they're there in that region, but to come down into Islamabad and put posters up in various different markets and stuff, uh,
No, it's
it's
incrementally getting stronger into Punjab. You see, that is the
mm,
danger. Now, if you take these airstrikes, how will the Taliban react? Taliban will react not by attacking in KPK. Brother Pashtuns, they won't do that. They know that to hurt Pakistan, to make them desist from any adventurism, you have to hit them in Punjab. So if the TTP has already come down to Islamabad, which is the capital, they will hit them in Islamabad, they will hit them especially in Lahore. Because Lahore, they
mm,
know, is the bleeding heart. That is the heart of Punjab, it's the heart of Pakistan. So
Pakistan.
if something happens in Lahore, in retaliation, it's going to be very tough for Pakistan. So all these crises coming together, is a major issue.
So, in my last segment, politically, you had said that this guy has some dreams of becoming, last time we had spoken, had some dreams of becoming the president of Pakistan. He's refuted that publicly, as a matter of fact. A lot of people have refuted that publicly, which makes me think that that deal is still valid.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, November is up, sir, next month. Now, we know that he's up for a paper extension, you know, eh, which a lot of people say should be automatic, but some people say that it has to go to the PM's office. Shahbaz Sharif has to sign on it.
Shahbaz Sharif has
What?
to recommend it to the president,
Hmm.
and the president has to finally approve it.
So, what do you think is happening here, sir? Now,
So, Khwaja Asim made this absurd statement. Technically, he was right. He said, I have to make the recommendation. So, the army picked up his confidant, who was a SDM or somebody. They said, Acha, you think you have the bloody guts to make a recommendation of what is to be done or not? You see, the whole catch, if it was up to Shahbaz Sharif, he would have done it a month ago. He has no problem with Asim Munir. It is Nawaz Sharif. Nawaz has put his foot down. He said, what's in it for me? I give this guy 2 years, I give this guy 5 years. What do I get in the bargain? And Asim Munir does not trust Nawaz Sharif. He has fought with every army chief that he has appointed. Everyone.
Hmm. Hmm.
So Asim Munir doesn't trust him. But in between, he starts saying, vote ko izzat do. Shahbaz Sharif is the correct name for him is Ardbi. उसको बोल रहा है सलाम साहब क्या चाहिए आपको आज अच्छा ये जो 27th amendment चाहिए लो मैं 27th amendment कर देता हूँ so a obsequious man like Shahbaz Sharif suits Asim Munir. A person like Nawaz Sharif who believes in his own popularity and who believes he's the best thing that could have happened to Pakistan does not suit Asim Munir because he will not listen to Asim Munir.
Hmm.
The only weapon that Asim Munir has against Nawaz Sharif is his daughter. That, I will make sure that she continues as Chief Minister of Punjab. And at a later stage, maybe she can become Prime Minister. And second, the fear of Imran Khan. Because if Imran Khan were to come out of jail, he will decimate the PMLN in Punjab. Because today the PMLN hardly has any clout left in Punjab. In fact, Nawaz Sharif himself told his brother, एक जमाना था कि लोग हमारी टिकट के लिए मरते थे आज हमारी टिकट लेने के लिए कोई there's nobody to buy and get our ticket for elections. So this is the dagger in front of Nawaz Sharif that if he does not give Asim Munir an extension, he will unleash Imran Khan on him.
So, is there any political moves behind the scenes against Asim Munir right now, with all these things happening together? Do you think these
I don't
guys
see.
will?
I don't think that anybody in the army will pick up cudgels against.
Hmm.
You see, the only person they talked about was Asim Malik, the DG ISI, but he has been given an extension and promised either chairman, joint chiefs of staff, or another four-star to become a vice chief. So he has been kind of bought over. So and also told कि जब मैं निकल जाऊंगा फिर तुम बन जाना, because now they don't retire before 60.
Hmm.
So I don't see that within the army there could be any contender who would take on cudgels against Asim Munir. I don't see that happening.
So, do you think his political dream is still alive?
Yeah. But he's doing it step by step. कि पहले मैं 2 साल लूंगा, फिर 2 साल के बाद मैं 5 साल और लूंगा, उसके बाद मैं प्रेसिडेंट बनूंगा.
He
Why should
wants
I
to change.
expend? Why should I expend everything in one go?
By the
I'll
time,
stretch it out.
change the constitution, become that presidential system, and this and that, and then.
Yeah. I mentioned, I think, in your program that after his June visit to the White House, he had addressed the diaspora. And there he praised the presidential system,
Mm.
hinting that this is a system that is required in Pakistan. And he
That's
said it will
interesting.
take up to 2035 to improve Pakistan's economy. Again, he said, and I hope to be there by then. You know? So he has planned, this is one smart cookie here.
One smart cookie with little time bombs running on the streets. So, last thing,
Yeah.
sir, what do you think is the street in Pakistan today? Whatever said and done, sir, people know India hit them bad. I mean, there are videos. नूर खान बेस पे अटैक हो गया है, सियालकोट पे अटैक हो गया है, पुल्हारी पे अटैक हो गया है, शहबाज पे अटैक हो गया है. They were bloody videos all around the place which are shot by Pakistanis. They know they got their ass handed to them. Now India is threatening them. Afghanistan has come here. इनकी तो हालत खराब होगी सर. ये तो पूरा गेम ही उल्टा हो गया. We are trying to control Afghanistan. ये तो इंडिया घुस गया. Recognition almost. I mean, without recognizing the Taliban, you've recognized the Taliban. Pretty
You see,
much.
in popular imagination, when you say you're upgrading your technical office to an embassy, people will say, no, embassy to recognize कर दिया इंडिया ने, वहाँ ambassador चला जाएगा. You know? So, yes, you're right. You know, when you look at, read between the lines of people, various talk shows, this Vox Pop, they're asking people, they know they've been whooped. And they know they've been whooped very badly. And now even foreign correspondents, foreign commentators are all documenting this. The one guy I saw who actually talked about spoofs, how the Indian Air Force had spoofed the Rafales
Yeah.
and the Pakis hit that and they thought they had destroyed them. He demonstrates how it was done. And then you have former MI6 people also coming up and saying that Pakistan lost in those 3 hours on the 10th. Pakistan lost everything. That's why they ran, scurried, I think was the word he uses, scurried for a ceasefire on the 10th. And also the basic common sense. If anybody had to get a 5th star, it should have been the air chief. Army ने क्या किया यार? Was there even a single skirmish?
Sir,
What
they were
did the
fighting.
Munir did?
They were fighting. The army and the air force were fighting with each other. Why? Because
Yeah.
before the war, the army said, नहीं तू एक काम कर, वो HQ9 मेरे को दे दे, मैं चलाऊंगा. And none of them worked. And this guy, I believe the air chief has called him up and said, hello, क्या कर रहे हो भाई? We are getting shot out of the sky here. तुम क्या कर रहे हो? कुछ तो करो. कहता तुमने उसको प्रोग्राम नहीं करा ढंग से. So in their defense forums, this is actually being discussed pretty openly. There's a huge fight between the air chief and the army chief. Yeah, what is this? So now the air chief has got funds to create his own bunker and all that in Kanpur.
Okay.
So pura air picture will now be handled by as if that air chief is super great. 1500 hours of flying in total. I mean, what? These guys are not serious. F-16 they rakhe inko. So a tough situation for this guy, sir. Do you think he's smart enough to deal with all these protests, deal with the international situation? India, what if India, they do something stupid and India hits back even harder now? There are reports something is going to happen. Everybody knows, you know it, I know it. Something is going to happen. Kab hoga, we don't know.
Yeah, but if in Pakistan, whenever the situation deteriorates, and then they have to let off pressure, they have to let off steam,
They
they
do
have to
this.
divert, they do something on it. So that seems to unify the country. Everybody rallies behind the army. So, for example, the program that you did on Sir Creek, that suddenly seems to be the new, either we've hyped it up, I don't know, or because they have moved in 4 Creek battalions, which is substantial number of troops in that area. So that could be one. Or, I've always, after his statement about attacking in the east, I'm concerned that they will use Bangladesh, and this Yunus will allow himself to be used to do something in the east. So that is something that we need to watch out for. But you're right, something is bound to harm. They're bound to try and divert attention because the situation doesn't look good for Munir. You see, in his handling, it is because he has no challenger within the army, within the civil. Now, let's see how this TLP protest pans out. But among the political forces, he certainly doesn't have a challenger. They're always very cautious of the religious forces. So let's see how this TLP protests.
No wonder he probably went to America and said, "Sir, बाकी सब ठीक है, इमरान खान को मत निकालना." इसको रहने दो. I will do what you want. Just that's why I feel that they ran to America in desperation because मार भी पड़ी है, China भी हाथ धो रहा है. This guy bloody touches Imran Khan, finished. Country is over after that. So they bought some time.
भाई बाप आपको नोबेल प्राइज चाहिए तो we'll nominate you. आप बताओ तो सही आपको चाहिए क्या?
Sir, there has to be some desperation that Pakistan is ready to sign a document on Gaza without the Palestinian state.
And without even knowing the full, the reaction of Hamas. Yeah. And then saying that we support it fully. And then trying to backtrack. Typically sneaky Pakistan attitude. You put one step forward, then you take 2 steps back. What did Ishaq Dar say? This is not the document which we had agreed upon. Basically calling Trump a liar. Then I think he was told, अरे यार वो जब वो agreeable है तो तुम क्यों ऐसे protest कर रहे हो? So all kinds of lot of moving parts. I think the next 1 month, till there is clarity on his appointment as further extension, there is going to be a lot of chaos. The whole pivot of what is happening in Pakistan today is this man's extension. A gets an extension, gets 2 years, gets 5 years. This issue has to be resolved. And the longer Nawaz Sharif takes over it, the more confusion, the more problem is going to be in Pakistan. If you were to announce it tomorrow or day after, you'll find things will settle
down. That's interesting. On that note, sir, thank you so much. Always a pleasure talking to you. This was a very interesting discussion on a very interesting day. And, I don't think, as I said, I've not seen Pakistan exploding in all 5-6 provinces and at a national level also, and at an international level also. And on top of that, they do airstrikes. So it's there's a 40-foot wide road, pile of dump lying in the middle of the road. Pakistanis have this habit of going into it face first. So I think they've done that.
Thank you, Aadi. It's always great talking to you and doing a show with you. Wish you all the best. Take care.
Thank you, sir. And to the audience, please like, subscribe, and of course, if you can, do contribute towards the channel. Details for you in the description. Namaskar.